This is Butler Street, between 39th and 40th Streets. There's a pharmacy here, a health clinic, a bus stop, and a past, a tragic past. Years ago, this was a place where tools of death and destruction were manufactured. The Allegheny Arsenal spread across more than 38 acres in Pittsburgh's Lawrenceville neighborhood. During the Civil War, a workforce of mostly young women assembled artillery shells and cartridges here. Some were girls as young as 12. The work was tedious and dangerous. Black powder is highly combustible, and it was stored and used throughout the arsenal. Sparks here were the stuff of nightmares. In September of 1862, the nightmare became real. The story of the most horrific event in Pittsburgh's history begins at a wood frame building called the Laboratory. It was located here, in an area that's now a ball field. Disaster strikes on a Wednesday, around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The young women are at work in the laboratory. Mary Davidson is here. She's 14 years old, and when she left her home this morning, she was singing a hymn. Mary's 16-year-old sister Agnes is here too. Perhaps the young women hear the clomping of horse hooves as a wagon loaded with barrels of black powder nears the building to make a delivery. The deadly spark is visible only for an instant. Most likely, it springs into existence when a shoed horse hoof strikes a stone. The spark finds life in the black powder that has gathered in the road, powder swept from workrooms or that has leaked from poorly constructed barrels. In the moment it takes to draw a breath, the spark leaps to the laboratory porch, where barrels of black powder are stored. In downtown Pittsburgh, people raise their heads at the dull, distant sound. Closer to the arsenal, windows shatter at the Lawrenceville Presbyterian Church. Dishes rattle in homes. Mothers, who just hours before had sent their daughters to work, feel a cold and sudden sense of panic. Minutes after the first blast, a second explosion rips apart another section of the laboratory. Within moments, a third blast erupts at a nearby engine house. Frantic mothers rush to the arsenal. They cannot imagine the horror awaiting them. Fragments of their daughters are scattered throughout the arsenal grounds. Arms, legs, and feet lie among charred pieces of wood. Some bodies are little more than tangled masses of flesh, bone, and hair. High above, tree limbs clutch shards of clothing torn away when bodies fell to the earth. At the laboratory, the fire is so intense the bodies trapped inside burn like wood. Some have survived, but are horribly burned. The writhing and suffering of Mary Connolly is so horrific that sickened spectators turn away. Soon, Mary dies. Relatives of the dead will spend hours bent over remains, looking for anything recognizable. A piece of a dress wrapped around a torso, a shoe attached to a foot. It's a gruesome and often hopeless task. In the days after the explosion, mothers draped in black become a haunting presence in Lawrenceville. One clutches a daguerreotype of her shattered family. "There is my once happy group," she says. "All are burned but that one." Remains of the unidentified victims are placed in 39 plain black coffins and buried in a large, deep pit in Allegheny Cemetery. More than 70 lives are lost in what is the worst civilian disaster of the Civil War. Outside of Pittsburgh, though, few take notice. The world's attention is elsewhere. For at the moment of the explosion, the Union and Confederate armies are busy slaughtering each other in a place called Antietam Creek. It is the single bloodiest day of the Civil War. Total casualties number more than 23,000. Today, The battlefield where those soldiers died is preserved, the sacrifices remembered. The sacrifices of those who died at the Arsenal are honored too, for those who take the time to notice.